we will get started with some Node.js coding. Not Node.js, sorry. I'm actually not going to work on my Node.js stuff. I'm going to work on my little side project. On my little side project that deals with software as a service. It's a software as a service project, and we're gonna do React.js. And I need to do a few things apparently, because I'm still new at all of this. So let's see. We can see this chat widget, or can we? Can we? Really? There it is. Okay, good. But let's get started with the whole enchilada, which means let's get our terminal open and go in CD projects, projects, and run. So, right. I recently got a company phone and I'm not used to it, so I keep missing that I have it. So it was actually I had to charge it because I haven't used it I haven't checked it for 2 days, which is embarrassing. Perhaps people have been calling me and I don't know that yet, because the battery died on it, so I just plugged it in. Anyway, let's forget about that now. Let's focus on some coding. Coding is fun. This is recreational coding. Sometimes my wife asks me, what are you doing? Are you working again? I go like, oh, I have my IDE open and my stuff all open, and I go like, no, I'm not working. This is my hobby. And not everyone understands that, but it is my hobby, actually. Right. Shall we try to get some music? I have some royalty-free jazz. I don't want to make the same mistake that I've done before, to stream some proprietary music, because then they shut down my audio, and that's not really cool. So therefore, I will play. I thought I could play some soft music, but I can't really. No, I can't. Let's see if I can fix that. Oh gosh. And we would go into the right. Extend microphone, which is no, that's the outgoing thing. Black hole, Hector. That's not it. I keep forgetting how to do this. That's really embarrassing. Oh. I had it all set up yesterday. But my problem is that I set something up and it works, and then I go to my office and then it does not work. Oh, because now I know. I think I know. Right. Let's forget about that and just go to STM and sound, and we're gonna go here. Yeah. There we go. And so now I think you people can hear the music playing. I at least think so. If you do, just say in chat that you do. It would be nice. Right. All good, all good. But I would love to hear that too. I would also love to hear that music playing. Or no, I can't. I would love to hear some music, please. I would love to hear some music. Right. Here? No? Okay. Right, so I'm gonna be with... Do I have to be without music? Can I do this? Okay, now both you and I hear the music. So that's gonna be the thing. So yeah, and sound in would be this microphone. Okay, and whether this is good or not, do we want this like this? Perhaps, yeah. Right, okay. Right. I think we are good to go. Oh, just lower the sound here. Okay. Right, so let's see where we are in terms of pull requests. I did create a pull request yesterday, I think. Nomads updated 3 hours ago. Really? Who no, I see out for Cypress. Well, I do not know what that is. Who updated this 3 hours ago? I don't understand. 3 commits. This is from dependable. Oh, there are some dependencies. Yeah, okay, never mind that. Let's go to the project in focus, and that would be the Pranzo, this one. Right. Discussions allowed community members to start conversation. Yeah, okay, got it. Right. And we did merge this Cypress thing, okay, which means that we can now safely check out master. We can check out master, and we can do git pull origin master. And y'all know that we don't call it master no more. We call it main. Should probably change that. Anyway, I'm gonna do yarn, and I will make sure to run my test. Yarn Cypress. And if you would love to know more about Cypress at some point, then you can ask me, and I'll be happy to tell you about Cypress. Yeah. Sorry. Yarn Cypress. There we go. Whoa, starting server. Whoa, what was that? I missed that. No, we're gonna actually stop this. So where's my Cypress runner? Here it is. So we're gonna run 3 integration specs, and here we go. We can do this, we can do that, we can do this, and we can do that. And they are all passing. And so I'm just gonna quickly check out a new branch here, because what I want is to add a few tests, git checkout -b, and I'm gonna call it navigation tests or specs, navigation specs, and I'm gonna have the tests, the Cypress run well, sorry, that was actually a bit premature, because I want to open this in code, and then I want to start this thing, and then I'm gonna promptly just open this up like this, and we're gonna close all the tests for now. And here I will go to Cypress integration tests, and we can just create a new file. Come on, we can just create a new file, and we can say user can navigate between views. So some people refer to the different views like pages, and they might be perceived as pages, but I don't think they are pages. They are rather views. Anyway, feature.js, and here I'm just gonna say describe, and I'm just gonna add in it, and what was the syntax? How did we say clicking a flag icon? Right. Menu can be used. No, clicking. You can say clicking menu items. Well. Right, and so we could say something like before each, before all, no, before each, before all, no, before. That's oh gosh, what did I do here? I did before each visit. Before each, is that really good? Right, so let's do before each then. And then we just do ci.visit, and I'm just gonna visit the root path like this, and then let's have a look. What does it look like? Let's go down. Right, yeah, so this is actually interesting. How can I make sure that we dispatch something? Can we dispatch a value to our do you guys know what it is? This is a cord, and my MacBook is running low on battery because this one is not plugged in, and it's lucky I noticed that. I was down on like 3%. Anyway, so you can say control, you can say dispatch from Cypress test, right? Because so you see, I'm setting my language setting in the initial state, and I would love to set this to English in the beginning. I was playing around with this yesterday. You know, to control the language setting. Then it struck me that I'm doing it in my Redux store, so I don't want to do this. Yeah, so I can do Windows Store, and then I can, yes, of course, I can do Windows Store. And I think I already have that. Let's have a look. We go to my index.json. Where's my index.json? Where is my index? App.js, index.js, right. Windows Store. Fantastic. So this means that I can do, could we do before load? Wasn't it called before load? On before load, sorry, on before load. On before, oh, on before load? I was like totally convinced that it was called on before load. But well, right, oh shoot, Cypress on before load. On before load, on before load. Right, it should be on before load. On before, right, exactly. But the question is whether I want to dispatch this on before load or on load. Let's think about it. So we want to say on before load, and we have window, and then we can say window store, but I don't think I can do this on before load. And then dispatch, and then I would dispatch what? I have my state here, and I have my root reducer, and this set language. So we want to say language that was the wrong place, but we can try that here. So we say type set language and then payload, and then we say en. Can we say that? Yeah, en. Can we do that? Right. But I don't think that's going to be on before load. I think we need to do this on load actually. But let's try that. Where's my here it is, and we want to run this and see where my complex Cypress would have really. Oh, why would that appear here? Get out of here. This autocomplete is bugging the shit out of me. Right. We can't do that because it's undefined. So, because this happens before we load the window. So let's try to do it on load instead. That didn't happen at all. That didn't happen at all. So could we? I'm not having a good run with this testing thing. I'm actually good at Cypress, but now it feels like, you know, I could be really creative with Cypress, but now it feels like I'm really bad at this. It doesn't feel okay at all. I think I need to update. I think that I would probably benefit from updating my stream info. Right, let me just do this off camera. Right. Right. And we would go to my own channel. Right. Right. SaaS application working with Cypress. IO. Right. Oh, not SaaS application, but rather SaaS application. Right, there we go. Okay. Right, so let's go to our reducer, our root reducer, and we will just console log here, console log in reducer. That's reducer. That's a very simple thing that we want to run, and then we're gonna reload this, and it says in reducer, so we are actually hitting this one. Okay, good. Then we will remove this and set a debugger. Right, and let's reload. Okay, and the action payload is locale. Okay, now I know why this is not setting anything, because this should say, this should be an object, and we should say locale en. Right. So let's see if this is actually doing something for us, because this test should fail now, but it doesn't. So, but we're still showing us Swedish. But shouldn't that dispatch, aren't we using that dispatch, that setting, I mean, sorry, in our like app.js, use translation, and here on i18n, init store get state. Yeah, that's exactly. We're getting the store, we're importing the store here, we're getting this locale from the state, and so initial react in false, return locale, current locale. Well, there it is, language, current locale. It should, oh, it should be UK. UK? Are you shitting me? Okay, then. Oh, that's why, you know, if you don't follow conventions, all of a sudden you are pretty effed. But this is not doing it. So if I would now just actually just take this, let's see, Windows Store Dispatch, right, this exact the same thing here, and like I click on this and I go to console and I actually just run this dispatch of undefined. So why is window? How many windows do we have here? Window 1, window what? And Cypress. We're not dispatching? That's weird, because if I'm here, like if I go to this front, so here, no, here, right? And if I open this one up and I do this, but that doesn't, oh. So can I say, well, window store. Aha, because we are not reacting to this one. So get state, and this one actually updated the locality to UK. And so if I do this and I get state now this is SE. I click on this and I get state now. This is still SE. Okay, because I am apparently not using that. So we're gonna have to refactor that. Well, I have this in state, but I never use it actually. That's a bummer. So let's see if we can get that off the ground. So let's have a look on where do we use i18n. i18n const use translation in app.jsx. Language is different than language available locales, and this is that. Change language to language. I don't want to do that. Here, this is the key to success. If I want to change this using state, which could be a little bit of an overkill, perhaps, but I think I want to do that anyway. So this one is actually not applicable, but rather use state. Right, we are not importing anything here, so I'm going to say import. Right, import. How do we do that? Import statement. Right, there we go. Import external module. Right, from React Redux. And I'm going to say use selector and also use dispatch. Right, and so here I'm going to say const locale equals use selector, and then I will just say state and a shorthand to just return state like this, state. And then I'm going to say const dispatch equals use dispatch. Right, and so here I want to say, I want to X this out, and I will say dispatch, and then I will just say type, and that was set language, and then I would say payload would be the locale, and then I would say just set this to UK. That's what I need to do, right. And so here we probably need to use effect. This is like way much more code, but I will say use effect, and then just a callback on that, and the second argument would be an array, and here we would just say with the locale changes, and then I would just say this rather to locale, and we don't want to set this. Locale should be language. Language. Right. So what does that do for us? Let's see. So here we are, and now I want to, so now we have SE, And now I want to dispatch this. And that changes the language. And so now if I get state, oh gosh, I'm good. I'm not bad. So now I can modify this by dispatching to state. Right, so if I now do SE, then we get this. Awesome. Yay. That kind of makes me happy. I'm happy with that. So now I can control my language settings using Redux. Awesome. That was the whole point from the beginning. For some reason I got sidetracked. I remember this vaguely. I did this like 3 months ago. I think it was 3 months ago. Let's check. Where was this? This was 2 months ago. Okay. Right. Resource services and resource stored data. Right. So this also feels weird. But I remember that I was doing this and I kind of got sidetracked. Not sure if I need this else block here. Available locales, but probably I do. Anyway, let's run the test and see what's up. Right, so this test should, in principle, where is that? No? So let's stop and let's run this test thinks that we are in Swedish in the beginning. So this actually fails now because I'm setting it to English in the beginning. That's why we are failing. So this means that if I would now say SE here. Oh, really? Really? Cannot read property locale of undefined. What are you? Really? That's not really cool. That's not cool at all. So we're gonna have to figure this one out. Let's just right. Let's just channel. I'm streaming on my channel. No. And then we just want to go in. Why would this fail? I don't understand why this would fail. Type error. For expected UK tag as UK, right? Expect to contain, right? And then we want to click, and we're failing on the click. This behavior is configured. Unquote this, but why? Why SE? Windows Store dispatch set language payload. Unload. Right. Not really sure what is going on here. Why would this be a problem? But what if we just remove this and we can see if this problem is attributed to that? That's actually not the case. Oof. Action payload locale set language. Okay. Right, so there's something wrong in my reducer. So let's just set this, go to the reducer. And set the debugger here. State action. State action. Okay, give me a break. Come on. Right, so what is state? Locale is SE. So we're good on that. Voucher response is empty, right. And then we just release this and we're hitting this again and state is still SE. So, and the payload is undefined. Really? Because I misspell. Damn it. Patload. What the F? What's wrong with me? Payload. But where does this originate from? Oh. Right. Right. Okay. All right. Let's remove this reduce. That's the way you spot bugs. If you can't see them yourself, you're gonna have to spot them differently. Right. Let's see if we can get some action here. Right. So now we're passing, and if I change this now to UK, then we are failing. Yes, because he can't find that particular flag. Good stuff. All right, so SE it is. And then we can just copy this guy and we're gonna head over to my user can navigate. And I want to visit this in British, in English. It's better for me. UK. Okay. So let's see if we can stop the runner. We want to just run this one. And that should display the site in English. Yes, it does. It does. Yes, it is for a millisecond displayed in Swedish, but then we're dispatching the new thing. So now we made a good use of this on load function. So this is triggered when the browser window has been loaded. That's when we have access to the Windows Store. Because I'm setting this in my index.js, this line of code is doing this for us. This is a little bit of a hack, but that's the way this cookie crumbles, and that's good. All right, so let's just see if we can. No, we can get Slack open, and we're just gonna go to Ripcourse March, https twitch.com/Thomas_Ochman. Right. There we go. So, getting ready to cancel, and we're just gonna head over to my phone. Copy, and then just go over to Agile Ventures, General. You can say here, I'm live on Twitch working on React and Cypress. Right, here we go. Okay, so now we want to be able to click on the different links here, basically. So we want to just say start for restaurants contact. Right, so we're just gonna by clicking we're just gonna say describe blog by clicking start like this, and then I'm just gonna move this in. Here. This auto formatter is killing me. It is not here, Thomas. It's actually here. Right. And so now I can just copy this, and I'm gonna say start, and here I'm gonna say for restaurants, and then I'm gonna just add another, what was it, contact. By clicking contact. Right, so here I will just say is expected to display something. I'm gonna copy this down to this guy and down to this guy, and here menu and click user can navigate. User can navigate the site by clicking start for restaurants and by right. And so here we can say something like CI get what do I want to get? Let's inspect this guy and have a look what we are looking at for, in this case, and we are getting an anchor link. Right. But I want to give this data CY probably. We're just gonna search for, well, we can't search for start. So where's the navigator? It's in the header, right? We're gonna have to go to the header, which is in components, application header. There we go. Active item location, path name, link to. Right. So the question is, should I put the data CY on the link to? Probably. Data CY equals, and this one will be start. Right, and this, the second one will be for restaurants. We'll probably not use snake case, but rather kebab case for restaurants. And that's my keyboard, it's not me. And then I will just call this contact. Right, and so here I want to say hot brackets data CY equals start. Come on, give me a break. Right. Data CY start, and then we could say something like, if we click on start, well, actually, right, so yeah, we should probably not start with that. UI header column, this is the one, not container, vertical segment container. I want to go to the container, stackable, center aligned. Right, so we need to find this guy in general content, and this is not a good name for this container class name. Right, so we just want to say data CY main container. The question is, can I just give this one? Is there a container here? Yeah, there is one. So we can just give the same data CY to all of these, I think. Right, and that should actually give me a better ability. Yeah, I could probably just grab this main container and save it as a variable, so I don't have to get it each time. The user can navigate. So I could say something like, on the before thing, I could say CI, but perhaps on load. Can I do that on load? No, let's try this first. CI get data CY equals main container, and then I will say as, and I can just call it container, and then I would say ci.get, and then add container equal should, and then I can say contain text dot text, and these are chai matches. And what text should I, should probably contain what? Yeah, of course. Choose a restaurant. But this actually appears twice, so we might not. Oh, that actually passed. Good. Okay. So this means that I can just display I don't know, display some messages. I don't know what I should, I don't even think that these, since I'm writing all of these tests afterwards, it doesn't feel very sexy, to be honest. So let's see, for restaurants, and let's just do only on this one. Okay, stop. Let's just run this again. But haven't I clicked it? So I would just copy this. Yeah, oh sorry, I need to click it. Click this one, and then I'm gonna click this one, and then I'm just gonna say that this should say simplify your sales, increase your revenues. Yes. Okay, and then I can just get these two and promo text for restaurants, restaurant owners, right, or managers or whatever, and this should display promo text for end users. End users is probably something like this, and there we go, right, and comma, right, and then just display contact information, contact form, and so we say we want to click on contact, and let's just get that add only here, and let's see, I want to see this fail, and so yeah, just displayed it. Right. There are plenty of other assertions you could write on this one. You could say not only contain text, but you could check for some elements and see if they are being displayed or not. Definitely. Right. Right. Which means that we could remove this only, and we can run the whole enchilada. Let's close this. Right, so now we can navigate the site, but we don't have to misspell site. Right? That's right, spell it. Right. Okay. Right. Automated tests are fantastic. Automated tests are fantastic. It will not be launched in January 2021. Well, it was actually launched in January 21. Let's just change this to like April or something. What does it say in Swedish? Right. 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 Okay, let's run the whole thing and then merge this baby. So let's stop this and run all 4 integration tests. We're good. We're good to go. It's awesome. We have a small, but at least some test suite that we can run. And so let's see if we can run this in our terminal. Right. So I should be able, let's have a start. Yeah, I need to create a silent start because I don't want to add I don't want to open up a browser. So start silent, and we can copy this, the whole thing, but I think I can just say browser none. Browser equals none. I could do that. I could do that. But before I actually try this, I'm gonna check this out. So I could check that on my own account because I know that I've used it somewhere. I think I used it on my client, Bocado client, right? So if you just check the package JSON here, let me check what I did here. Oh, this is my React Native app, so that's not it. It's called admin. Is it called admin? Bocado internals. It's called Bocado internals. And here, I think I have starts at browser none. Exactly. Browser none. Right. So browser none. Okay. Which means that I think I can make this a little bigger and stop this, which means that the runner should stop. Yes, the runner stopped. And now I can do yarn Cypress run, and this should run this as in a headless browser. Hi Luke, good evening, nice to see you. Welsh Thor, that's a nice handle. Anyway, what I was trying to do didn't work out for me because it did fire up a browser, which is something I do not like. Why would that happen? I don't know. I have no clue. I do not wish for this to happen. I want to be able to run this in a headless state. Why would that be happening? But this is good, actually. This is good. We are running this in headless state, which makes it possible for me to set up continuous integration using, for instance, Semaphore or some other service for this project. But we won't do it now, and because there are some hurdles with that. For instance, we are on a private repository, and so I would have to dive into Circle CI to do that, because that's where I have my account. I don't have a paid account on Semaphore, nor do I have one on Travis. So, Luke, that's your gaming and streaming handle. Absolutely, I totally understand that. No, there will be no gaming going on for the next 3.5 months. No gaming at all. Although you can stream, I would actually encourage you to stream, because there are plenty of people here. Well, not plenty, but there are some people here on Twitch that are learning to code, and they are streaming about their experience. And we always encourage our students, for instance, not to stream. We haven't done that before, but definitely write blog posts about their learning experience. So I would encourage you to do that, actually. But no, there will be no gaming. Sorry. What am I doing tonight? I am working on a small application. I can talk you through this. Well, actually, I'm writing tests for a front-end part of a system that we're building, which is a small service for restaurants to manage their lunch cards and vouchers, and it's actually deployed on pranzo.se. So you can check it out. It's a side project of mine, nothing super fancy, but interesting enough to work on for me. So there are a few things that I find interesting in this little project, and I a few months ago I just coded away, experimented a little bit, and I didn't write so many tests. So now I'm repaying that technical debt, as we refer to this, untested code, and going crazy with code and not thinking about what you're doing lead to it has to it will come back and bite you in the ass, and this bite my ass. And so I need to fix this. So now I have a problem with this. Why would this not work? Because I know why it wouldn't work, because I never invoked this. I need to say start silent here. Sometimes you are just plain stupid, Thomas. No, not stupid perhaps, but perhaps a little bit tired or something. What we want to do now, every time you run this script, React script start, that fires up a browser, and I want this browser to be killed because I want my tests to run directly in the terminal window and not anywhere else. So therefore I need to make sure that the browser is not popping up for me. Oh yeah. Doom. And we'll see if the tests are running and if they are passing. It looks like they are. Right. But they are awfully slow, to be honest. 5 seconds. That's rather, well, yeah, I don't know. So altogether 3 plus 5. I mean, it's much faster if you have your browser up. 2, so that's 10 seconds for a very simple test suite. And here 4 seconds, so we're up to 14 seconds. 16 seconds. That's rather slow, I would say. But if I run this with a headless browser, yeah. So the question is if there is a reason for doing this in the terminal, not in the browser. Like, you mean automated tests in the browser? There is a reason for this. If you work on a larger project, sometimes what you want to do is to deal with your with adding code to your main code base using pull requests and version control in general. And so what you want to do is to have an external service to tap into your Git flow and run all the tests remotely on a virtual server somewhere and tell you whether this is passing or not. And so if you want to do that, then you can't really fire up a browser because it's a headless server. It's a server without a user interface. It's just terminal based, right? So you don't have a browser available with an interface that you can still run your tests, but you have to run them text based. And so that's why I set this up, because it's possible to do that without a browser sometimes if you do it on an external service. But for my development, it's much more convenient for me to do it in this test runner that you see on screen now. It's far more convenient for me to do that, and because this supports me in my development flow. Now that you see me do this, then you see me writing tests afterwards, because as I was explaining, I'm repaying some debt caused by my laziness in the first place. But usually what you do is you write your test first, you run it, and you work your way through all the errors, by writing implementation tests in implementation code until it works. Hello Arun, nice to see you. So I have 2 loyal students coming in to watch me work and sweat. That's awesome. I'll be around for another 55 minutes, people. So you're up for a treat. And to see my workflow, if you want to stick around this long. If you don't, I totally understand that too. But I'm glad that you are with me. And whoever else is here, don't be shy, just pop into the chat and say hello and introduce yourself. That's always nice. Right, let's have a look at what we're doing. We are good to go. We have these tests where we can have a user navigate the site by clicking start, by clicking for restaurants, and by clicking contact. And so we could also, just for the sake of it, say we can add a describe block, and we can add can navigate in English, and then I can just take everything here and just move it into that describe block like this and just run it. Right, let's stop this and run only this. So because if I can scope it down, so I can say using can navigate the site in English by clicking start for restaurants and contact, then I can also write, I can basically copy that entire describe block and test the same behavior while this is in Swedish. So I can make it really easy for me. I can just, you know, collapse this, select this, go down here and just say in Swedish, because I have translated this this thing. So I can collapse this. Well, I can just say that this should be SE. This is the Swedish language. So this is fairly complicated. So I'm using application state, and I'm setting the language using Redux. So that's good. And then we say by clicking start, but I think that in Swedish that is hem, right? So we're just gonna say hem, and here hem would be, let's see, come on, give me a break. I'm gonna turn this off actually. No, I want to go to hem like this, and that should say välj en restaurang. So we're just gonna choose that, because we will not see choose our restaurant, but rather the Swedish text, välj en restaurang. And I'm just gonna say dot only. This is a trick to make my test run limited test, not the entire test suite, but or the entire test file, but just the things that I am actually interested in. And I will see some red stuff going on here because I just copied this test, and I'm checking for English versions, and I don't. So I predict that there will be a lot of failing tests. But let's see. Vill du öka din försäljning? I can check for that. So this would be for restaurant by clicking för restauranger. För restauranger. And this will be what I'm looking for. And then it will be checking for the Swedish word contact, which is spelled like this. And I will just check for that contact, right. So now I should go green on all of these, right, which is good. And now we can remove this dot only from this guy. You know, we have all of this code, and we can, what? Right, because I forgot to remove the dot. Yes, I forgot to remove the dot. So now we should go green on the whole thing, both in English and in Swedish. And that's nice. That's nice. And we can always browse around and see, you know, by hovering over certain parts of the of the test runner output, we can see what is going on. Awesome. Welsh Store, look, I hope you're clicking on that follow button and increase my stats. I'm new at Twitch, you know, I need all the followers I can get. So don't be shy. No, I'm kidding. All right. So let's head over here, stop the test runner, clear this out, do a Git status. And we can see that we've added quite a lot. Well, we modified a few things. We only added, oh, there's an MP4. Right, forgot to mention that actually when you run your tests in headless state, oh, you did the other day. Good stuff. Awesome. Thank you. When we run things in headless state, Cypress is actually recording my tests. So I could open, this is an MP4 file. I'm going to remove it because I don't want to check it into version control. But before I remove it, I actually want to open it. And that opens up my QuickTime. Looks something like this. And then I can just watch the recording of the test. That's nicey. And if I open up the other one, can navigate between views feature. So let's see if we can open this one up. And we can play it, and yeah, so this one was recorded before I added those other tests. So I can do, actually, I don't know why I'm doing this, but let's run this. It's going to take another 16 seconds, I guess. But this could be very useful to have these recordings if you want to share this with your fellow colleagues, or if you want to show your coach at the bootcamp that you attend that, look, my tests are passing. And so you can actually include that in the pull request description on GitHub. You just drag and drop those files if you can find them, and that actually isn't that bad. I have never asked any students to do this actually, but I think this could be actually proving the point that things are working, and it will also give us, the coaches, an indication of what the user interface actually looks like without having to download the code and run it ourselves. But then again, we often ask students to include screenshots, so that also works. Of course, let's see if it recorded a new version of this thing or not. Yes, it did, in English and in Swedish. So the whole thing is actually recorded. It's not a very long, it's like 6 seconds long, but it does record the things. And before you know it, guys, you will be writing Cypress tests. So all of this stuff that I'm doing now will be second nature to you too. So could you record what we are doing in OBS, for example, and send that? Oh, you mean what we're doing tonight, or what we're doing, like, could you elaborate on that? Right, I'm actually gonna remove these guys. The screen. Right, yeah, you could record that in OBS, but then again, if you run it the way I did, you know, in headless state, Cypress is recording this for you, so then you don't have to, you know, set up any external external things, external tools. But what I often do, I have a small little application. I can actually show this to you. I would say OBS a little bit of an overkill. But if you run it, if you set this up with Cypress Run instead of Cypress Open, and I will show you how that is done, then you will get those recordings, and those 6 seconds recordings are good enough to include in a PR description. But if you want to, if you want to record the whole thing, then absolutely you can record it with OBS, or if you're on a OS X machine, you can use just QuickTime. There is a setting to record screen and so on. But another thing that I often use to create animated GIFs is this, record it to. This is actually not a bad thing. So what you do is, let me get this out of the way. And let's say that you run your tests, or even if you just go to a website, you can just activate this. You say record, and then you select part of your screen like this, and you start to record. Then you can scroll, you can click on stuff, scroll again, and then let's say we just switch the language, and then we scroll a little more, and then I stop the recording. We just know where the F that is. There it is. For some reason that icon disappeared for me. And now let's see if I click on this. Now this is being uploaded to the servers, and I can play this, you see. But I can also just click on this GIF format here, and that would open, because that was a small MP4, but this is an animated GIF. So I can share this like this with you guys in chat, for instance, and you should be able to access this now. I can also download this and include this in my pull request description, for instance. But these recordings with Record It are suitable for smaller recordings, perhaps just a few seconds, 5. I know that I recorded longer things with this, but it becomes really heavy. Those GIFs actually grow a little bit out of proportion. But this is a good tool. Sometimes when you want to show your colleagues or your coaches or whoever a little more of the functionality, you want to click around and stuff, then this animated GIF is fantastic, I would say. So yeah. Right. Let's see. I was here and I need to remove that, so I can just say RM this, and I can actually remove this, RM this, and I would also probably add this Cypress/videos to my Git ignore, so that we never want to commit these files to version control. So everything that is added to git ignore will be ignored by Git, and I just add a wildcard here. I probably don't have to do that, but if I do git status now, I should be okay. And even if I run this again, those will be ignored. So that's actually a good thing. But we did add this modified. Right, so I need to do git rm dash dash, is that how you do it? And then this, or wildcard. Oh, sorry, that was misspelled. Cache. Yes, I meant cache with two dashes. Sorry. Right. So now if I do git status, yeah, we deleted that from version. We don't want to include these things into version control. And I know that we're you know, after hours, so I'm not your coach perhaps at the moment, but I can definitely give you a tip to always read through, always do Git status and carefully read what files you're about to commit, because you really want to avoid committing or adding some weird stuff to your version control. That's really important. So as always, the devil is in the details. That's the truth, you know. Definitely, that's really gonna make a big difference for you. So anyway, what I can do now is to git add everything and do git status again. Big post-it note, you know. I don't have those, but it's really important. Right, so let me just, actually I can make this a little bigger so you can see better. Right, so we deleted some stuff, modified, you know. You can always do git diff. Sometimes I don't remember what I've done, even though, you know, oh, I can't do git diff on a committed thing, so I can't do it. But sometimes before I do git commit or git add, you know, you want to do a git diff, so that actually outputs your current changes on screen. But anyway, git commit, and I always pass in this AM flag. And what did I do? I already forgot. General content. Yeah, I'm testing for navigating the site. Adds specs for site navigation in both languages. Languages. Right, and I always, you know, I'm trying to be funny, so I always try to add a Gitmoji. So Gitmoji is definitely a funny thing. I'm gonna actually share that link with you guys. I like share this every time I stream, so it's probably getting boring, but we can add some stuff here. Let's add sparkles this time. Right, let's add sparkles to our commit message. So I can just add this, and I can commit, and now I can do git push origin navigation specs like this. And Git is so kind to me that it detects that this is the first time I'm pushing to this branch, so it tells me that I can grab this URL that I can copy, and I can navigate to my browser and just paste it in. But I can also do this directly from the terminal, because, you know, it's always cooler to do it from the terminal. It's not cool, but, you know, I'm an old guy, so indulge me if I think something is cool. Right, so I can just paste this in and prefix this with the keyword open, and now it automatically opens up this this code and pre-fills the title for me. I don't want that, so, and I would just say navigation specs, and I would just add this as a markdown, remove the sparkles here, create this pull request, and look, there are some sparkles on my commit message. Yay. So that's good. And another thing, while you are here, I can show you that I am deploying this site using like infrastructure as a service. Is that what it's called? It's a site that allows us to push out things to servers called Netlify. It works really good for front-end applications, and you can use that. You can deploy using Git. It's a fantastic flow. And one thing that it is good at is that when you create a pull request, like I do now, I'm on a specific branch, and I'm creating a PR toward my master branch, my main branch. then it deploys a preview for me. So in just a minute or two, I will be able to actually go over there to the preview and navigate the code that I just added. I didn't add much code because I was mainly doing testing, but if you are developing your front end, and you know, the reason why I'm telling you this because I said that you could include these recordings or screenshots into a PR, but there is another way for a coach or your colleague to see this, is if you have this set up. So if you look at this, it says here that the deploy preview is ready, so I can check the details, and that would actually navigate to the site deployed on a virtual server. You can share this this URL with your colleagues, and I'm going to share it with you now. And so this is code that has not yet been merged, yet it is accessible to you over the internet, and that's pretty awesome. So you know, whoever is checking the quality of your code, they should of course do a proper code review to read through the code that you've submitted, and perhaps give you some feedback on it. Perhaps, you know, perhaps you should change this and change that and so on. But they can also, apart from the, you know, hardcore stuff, which is, you know, syntax and naming conventions and formatting and, you know, functions and so on, they would also probably, if you're developing a front end, they would like to see this in action. So therefore, a preview might be a very good thing to consider to include in your pull requests and into your flow, basically. So that's pretty useful. So I could now go ahead and you know, click around and stuff, and you know, make sure that I can switch the languages and all of the things that I've included here, and I feel happy with this. So now I could, you know, in principle, just make sure to merge this. And I'm actually going to merge this because I'm done with this. This was mainly for my own sake to get into this action. So I can confirm this merge now, and now this code is part of the master branch, and there are no open pull requests. There are 3 closed ones, and again, this is a solo project, so I don't necessarily have to do that much. I'm a bit worried that I merged a pull request that actually had WIP on it, so I'm just gonna edit this and change it to voucher. Right, like this. And you might wonder what this is, the octo tree. This is definitely something that I would encourage you to do, because this opens up, it's an addition to your Chrome browser, and it allows you to have a file navigator and folder navigator on the side of the screen. This is not the usual look and feel of GitHub. Sorry, so it's a little bit extra. It's a freebie, but you can pay them money if you want. That's pretty cool. Right. Let's see what else we can do here today. Well, of course, what we need to do now, since I am on the navigation spec branch, I need to check out another one. So I'm using an abbreviation CO and just say master. And now my master branch doesn't have the code that is on the navigation spec branch. So I need to do a pull from my remote. So I just do git pull origin master to my own local master, so that I can get all of those those changes. And now, as a sanity check, I can just do yarn Cypress again. And I'm always in the habit of running through my tests when I switch branches, especially before I start to work or even branch off again. So that should be your workflow as well when that day comes. Right. Let's run this. Sorry, I got distracted. Let's run this again. And we should go all green on this thing now. Now, one interesting thing, and that's definitely going to come into play when you work with testing your front ends, is that, you know, quite often your front end is somehow communicating with some sort of a backend application, like, you know, it queries a service for some sort of data, and so in Cypress, which is, you know, it takes on the behavior of a user. You actually tell Cypress how to behave and what to do, right? So let's say this user can switch language, right? If we just take a look at this particular test, what it does is clicking on a flag icon is expected to change UI language, and so we are visiting the application. We're doing it here. Here we are modifying the language of the user interface, but then you grab the flag, which in this case was a bit weirdish because I needed to say this nth child, fourth child. I'm not really sure why I had to do this, but I was struggling a little bit, so I needed to do this. But you grab the flag and you make sure that it's a UK flag in this case, and then we're just saying that if this UK flag is visible, that means that the UI language is set to Swedish. That's, you know, implicit. And so we are checking for some Swedish text. And then you just grab the first flag and you click on it, and then that flag shouldn't be a UK flag anymore, but it should have a class, because that's how we define that. It should have a class of SE, which is the Swedish flag, right? Once you've changed to English, then the Swedish flag is showed because you want to be able to switch back to the Swedish language. And then we are just checking if this subheader, instead of the Swedish text that we were checking for here, is displaying the English translation instead, right? So these are the specifications for this particular behavior, which is, you know, toggling the UI language. And that's the way you basically go about it. You just figure out something like, what would I like to test? Well, in this case, I would like to test whether I can switch language back and forward. So that's what you do. Let's say that we want to do something more interesting, which is some functionality that this system actually has. Like if we you're still around, that's good. So let's say that somebody has bought a voucher for a restaurant. So, and you can check this voucher's validity, like the balance. So in this case, at the bottom here, we have this check your card button. So we can check this card by, you know, every card has a code, and this is actually a code that is live, and I can check this by clicking check. Now, I have this deployed on a Netlify server, but the backend is on a free server on another system called Heroku, and that's a freebie too. So it is actually not up and running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but it only operates for 7 hours a day, and then it goes to sleep. Sleepy. So when I make this call now, it takes approximately 20 to 30 seconds to wake up, and once it has woken up, it responds to the question that we asked the server. So in this case, I was asking the server, hey, is this a valid voucher? And if it's valid, can you show me all the transactions? And it returns this answer. This is a valid card with a value of 15 servings, and then you have used up to 9 servings and have six servings left. And then you have like a table of transactions that in November 27th you had 2 servings, and so on, right? So that's what this system does. Now, in test environment, you don't want to do this live. You don't want to send this off to a live server. So what you are doing is that you are intercepting this network call, and this is a very important concept. And generally, we do not cover this until later in the bootcamp, but now since you are here, you might as well suffer through this. So, because repetition is the mother of all learning, which means that if you hear me talk about this now, next time around you will be like, yeah, I know all of this already, and so you will be ahead. Now, anyway, I have a feature file. Yeah, I know, but bear with me. Now, I have a feature saying that the name of the feature is like user can check value of voucher, right? So this code here that you see in this file is doing exactly the same thing that we just did by clicking around, but it does it in code. You understand? So we are giving Cypress a set of instructions to behave like a user would behave. Exactly what we just did. So this needs to be read line by line, and that's really important always, right? So we are visiting the site. We grab this button called validate card. That is, let's see, that is this button. This button. That's this button has a data CY on it. Let me show you this. You see here, button data CI validate card. You see this? So this is exactly what we're doing here. We're grabbing this node, and then we're issuing this .click command on that. It's like a bot, yeah. And we are clicking on this. But here we're doing something that is really, really important, because in my code, I am instructing my software, not the test, but the actual implementation code, to say that grab whatever is in this form. Let me reload this actually. Right, inside here, grab everything that is inside here, and send this off to this backend server, right? And this backend server is located on this URL, Vocado server herokuapp.com, and under a subfolder called API, vouchers, and then whatever will be passed in will be part of the URL. So I'm telling this like if by any chance there is a network call made to this particular address, do not make that call, but rather respond, just pretend that you did, and respond with this answer that is stored in this file that is called valid voucher response. And the valid voucher response looks like this. It's in the fixtures folder, and it looks like this. It's a huge object with the code, whether it's active, the value, and so on, right? And then you have a key of all the transactions and stuff, right? So it doesn't really matter what it does at this point. What I'm saying is that whenever your software is making a call to this particular address, it will not be made in test environment, but rather you will respond with this. And then, just to be on the safe side, I'm also making another so-called stub or interceptor with a slightly different code. Now this is a real code, and this is a code that does not exist. And then I am telling this, these are just what to respond with. Here I'm saving the response in a fixture file, but here I'm setting this directly in this test file, saying message, this is an invalid voucher, right? And then we just take a look at this code input field and code validation submit button, and we store them as variables here. And then we have a describe block that is called with a valid code. And so we just grab this code input, which is the input field, and we type quert, and then we take the validate button and we click on it. And then we have a test case here saying that it is expected to display a message, and we say data CY voucher validation message. This is a valid Pranzo card with value of 15 servings. And that's exactly what you will see here. For instance, if we just inspect this guy, this one has this data CY voucher validation message here. So, and then we also look for some other UI attributes. And this one is also interesting because this one checks for the entire table. What will be visible in that particular table. And this is very granular. I usually don't write this much in my tests. This is totally enough. You just say that this result rows, which is a part of the table that contains the data, should have 4 children. So 4 rows inside, which is exactly what we have. And the reason why this test data is corresponding with what you are seeing on the screen, it doesn't have to do it, but I just based my test data, on that particular response. So I just took it and copied it into my file. And then we have another describe block that kicks in that just basically tests whether what happens if you put in an invalid code into this form. And so we just do the same thing as we did before. We take the code input, we type, in this case, some wrong data. It could be whatever. And then we grab the validate button. And we also don't have to have that, probably. And we click on it. No, we don't have to have that. And then this validation message should contain text, this is an invalid voucher, and we're all good to go, basically. So that's how you write those tests. Like bots, kind of. And with that lecture, I think I'm gonna call it a day, unless you have any questions. We good? I hope your brain didn't explode too much. If you want to ask anything, just go ahead and type this up. Otherwise, I will be winding this stream down and just make a last commit here. Stopping this. Git status, I just did that small little change. And since this is my solo project, I can do whatever I want. So I can push up to master, which is something that you guys want to be able to do. Right. Take it easy. Look, stay cool, stay safe, and stay sane, most importantly. And have fun with Ruby. Have fun with Ruby. Git CI AM small brief factor of specs Git push origin master. There we go, and we are good to go on this one. So thank you for watching this far, if you made it this far. I have another stream coming up soon. I think I have something on my schedule. Let's have a look. Where's my schedule? Oh, where is my schedule? Should be a schedule here somewhere, no? Thought it was, but I can't see it. Why can't I see it? Well, anyway, if you visit my channel, you will see that I have some things coming up on my schedule, and I also do a little bit of click your profile picture. Yes, click my profile picture. Well, and then what? And then channel? No, that's where I am at the moment. See, I'm so new at this. Channel video studio. No, on your page, on the one that says live by. What? On your page, the one that you says live. Really? Oh, this one. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Good stuff. Now, right. So what do I have? This is Wednesday, and tomorrow, right? Actually, late at 1900 hours, I will be doing a coding session on React Rails, and tomorrow I will actually yeah, it is a minefield. Tomorrow I will actually leave React for one session or two sessions because I have a few things to do on the back end, and we are actually really programmatically creating those vouchers that look something like this. No, they don't look something like this. I thought they did. Well, really? Why is this? Oh, because this is localhost. Oh, right. Run so SC, right. So they look like this, right? So all of this is actually created using SVGs, vector graphics, and totally programmatically. And this QR code is also auto-generated, and all of that stuff. And I will do a little bit of tweaking of the modules that deal with that particular part of the application tomorrow, if you're interested in looking on that. And also I am uploading this to Amazon Web Services to a bucket over there, so I'm using cloud services for that. But that will be tomorrow, and today we are gonna say good night. Thank you.